Hello there, and welcome back to Hydroponics Daily, your go-to podcast for everything soilless cultivation. I'm your host, Dr. Russell Sharp. Now, normally we do a feature on each episode about a way of growing, a technique, a way to grow a crop, or some sort of new technology. But today we've got some breaking news, and it's really interesting. It affects everyone in hydroponics virtually, and that's because an LED company, Osram, is suing or taking legal action against growers. So they're not taking legal action, or they may be taking legal action against other companies that they believe have infringed their patents on their LED lights, but they're also going after the growers, which is an interesting strategy because you are basically in life. My dad always said to me, never go after people who are the heroes in children's books. And farmers are one of those things. Never go after nurses, doctors, firemen, and never go after farmers because they're the heroes in children's books. And just as the Labour Party in the UK has found, when you go after the farmers, it's a hell of a bad PR game. And Osram, the lighting company, they've made all lights for years and decades and decades. They also make LED lights. They've got really good lights, but they're suing people who are using products that they say are infringing their patents. And that includes growers and farmers. They're not, and this is because Osram have gone into facilities, greenhouses, and seen products being used that they believe are infringing their patent. Now, this has been around for a couple of weeks now, this news, and it's been really contentious because you would think they would just go after the companies that they believe have infringed their patent. But no, they've gone after the users as well. So certainly made a lot of headlines, and Osram have got a lot of publicity from it. Whether it's the right publicity or not, whether as a grower you would then use Osram, or I know a lot of growers who would say, stick it up your proverbial, not going to use Osram because they're suing my mates. But you would also think Osram are probably doing this to put you off using other people's lights and the people that they claim are infringing their patents. And if they prove it, then the companies that have infringed the patent, that's some really bad PR. So it's a gamble, but potentially it's a good gamble for Osram. Who knows? It's certainly high risk with suing growers. I can only imagine they're doing it to put more growers off from using grows from these lights. But the big news today is that the company that they're claiming has infringed their patent is Hawthorne Horticulture and their two brands. And their two brands are AgriLux and Gavita. Now, Gavita were a big brand in hydroponics for the last 10 years. I think they're certainly not selling in the UK anymore that I'm aware of. And very recently, I think Hawthorne rationalized their LED offering. And so they did introduce a 1000 watt LED recently, but I think that's no longer available in the UK. And so both, if you're using AgriLux or Gavita brands and you're in a big greenhouse, I would definitely not let any representative of a company that has Osram into your grow facility. And that includes resellers, agronomists, anyone connected with lighting refurbishment. Because I think what's happened here is some of the resellers have gone into the grow rooms and the greenhouses and said, oh, can we have a look around? And then seen these products that they claim have infringed the patent and gone back to Osram. And so if you are using AgriLux or Gavita products, don't let anyone who has got a connection to Osram into your grow room. Otherwise, you could be slapped with some legal action. So it's a really contentious issue. There's a lot of debate on LinkedIn, in professional vertical farming and greenhouse horticulture at the moment about this topic. And yeah, it's Highlight Horticulture have today hit back and said that they stand with their customers. Yeah, you would hope they would, because this is, I would say it's an existential threat to those brands that they have, AgriLux and Gavita. If growers get sued and have massive fines or worse for infringing those patents, then yeah, they've got a lot of egg on their face and they've got a lot of explaining to do to those growers. The good news is for Osram and Gavita that Hawthorne was owned by Miracle Grow, based in Ohio, and until recently, I think they've done a special legal thing where Hawthorne is no longer part of it, but could be bought back at some other period. Perhaps this was known about when Hawthorne was split off from from Miracle Grow because it was a risk that was already known about and potential legal action. So Miracle Grow, and the problem is that, and why it's so contentious as well, is that Hawthorne Horticulture is a bit of a love 'em or hate 'em brand in horticulture hydroponics. They've got connections to glyphosate, Roundup, and who owns Roundup? Oh yeah, Monsanto and Bayer. And so Monsanto are a really big contentious product because they're the GM crop, the original GM crop company. So Monsanto, Bayer, Hawthorne, Miracle Grow, they're all connected, not necessarily owned by each other, but there's a lot of people in the sort of legal cannabis sector that don't deal with Hawthorne Horticulture because of that. So yeah, this is another string to those sorts of people's bow if growers are being sued for it. So what have Hawthorne said? They're concerned, but that by pursuing legal action against the growers, we would understand acted in good faith when purchasing their lights. Osram may be signalling an intent to involve other end users, so it could go beyond the current growers that are being sued. Let's make one thing clear. We stand with our customers and feel compelled to address what we view as Osram's aggressive litigation strategy. Yeah, I mean, Osram have probably put millions and millions of pounds into their lights, and they've probably spent millions patenting them. So you only do that if you've got the will and the money to protect those patents and enforce them. So the problem is that a lot of LED products are being copied in certain countries, and perhaps there's an issue there where Hawthorne didn't realise they were infringing on someone's patent. Who knows? The facts will come out in the court case, actively. Hawthorne say they're actively working with their suppliers and manufacturers to ensure the interest of their customers are protected for the fullest extent possible. Moreover, Hawthorne, along with our other suppliers and manufacturers, stand behind our products and intellectual property. But they are also hot-footing it back to their suppliers to ask them, what's going on? Hawthorne strongly believe the products in question do not infringe any valid or enforceable patent. I would think in America, if this is the case, then if Hawthorne are telling the truth, then they've got a good reason to countersue Osram, haven't they? So that would be interesting because there's a big, issue with damage to their brand. So Hawthorne are confident in their products and committed to explore all avenues to support our customers. If I was a customer of Hawthorne, of Gavita, and I was being sued by Osram, I would want full financial support from them because they put the issue squarely on their plate. Hawthorne also notes that the patents currently asserted by Osram in the litigation against the growers are specific to certain jurisdictions, being the United States and Germany. So if you're in the United States and Germany, that's where you need to be particularly worried about this. The industry needs to understand the precise scope and limitations of such claims. To our knowledge, the specific patents forming the basis of the current litigation against the growers or grower do not extend beyond these named jurisdictions. So Hawthorne say it's just a German and an American issue. Furthermore, they're disappointing that Osram mentioned AgriLux by name in framing its allegations. We too are a customer of Osram. So it turns out that AgriLux, Gavita, Hawthorne, they also buy diodes from Osram. And Osram gave them, as a customer, no prior indication that they were taking this legal action. It's a real mess, isn't it? And it's only going to get juicier. So if you want to know more, the best place to look is a website called Horti Daily, because they broke the story. And kudos to them, because a lot of horticultural news outlets don't have the balls to actually release something contentious, but this one definitely is. So well done to the journalists at Horti Daily who've done that. Hawthorne are asking their growers who've got concerns to contact their marketing manager, Rosa DeLisa, at Gavita International. So Hawthorne haven't mentioned Gavita in their press release, but then they're also asking anyone who's concerned to contact Gavita. So it sounds like Gavita are involved in this. Yeah, as I say, it's a massive one. Anyone in hydroponics, horticulture in general, has heard of these names. And LEDs have been a massive area of innovation over the last 10 years, and people have chosen to protect these patents. LEDs are a good one to patent because it's very difficult to hide an infringement of a patent because it's there, the lighting structure. So the manufacturing process is evident in there. Whereas if you look at myself, we manufacture fertilizers. It's very difficult to tell if somebody is infringing your patent. So I would never patent a liquid fertilizer or a biostimulant because I don't have millions of pounds to enforce it like Osram do. You've got to be able to enforce it. You've got to be able to file a patent in all the jurisdictions. I don't have the money to do that. And also, you've got to be able to prove that somebody has infringed your patent. And that's really difficult with fertilizers and biostimulants. So you only do that, you only file a patent in fertilizers and biostimulants if you are looking to get investment from the City of London or Wall Street, because investors love having a patent because they can hold it and say, look, we own something. We own some intellectual property. But really, you just want to keep it as a special source, proprietary technology, secret ingredients, and protect it that way. But Osram can't do that because they are a manufacturer of lights. So they went down the patent route, and also because they've got investors, and so have Hawthorne. So really, a really juicy story there for you today. And watch this space because it's going to develop. But because it's a legal story, it's going to drip, drip, drip over the next year or so, which is not going to be great for the growers concerned because they're going to be worried. There's going to be a lot of risk hanging over them, and they're going to be dragged into courts potentially. If my money was on it, this would be settled out of court by Hawthorne, between Hawthorne and Osram, and no growers will be seeing the inside of a courtroom. But you never know. You never know. Stranger things have happened. That's been Hydroponics Daily for today. If I've got anything wrong to any of the parties in this, just give me a message and I'll have a look at it and probably take down the episode if I'm about to be sued by one of them. They seem to be very litigious. If anyone wants to give me a free LED light, then you know where to find me. I doubt I'm going to get any free LED lights out of this after this episode. If you've got an Osram light, if you've got a Gavita light, if you've got an AgriLux light, or you know somebody does, share it with them. Share this episode with them so they can get shit scared. They're going to get sued. And if you've had that shared with you, I normally say if this episode's been shared with you, then you owe the person who shared it you a pint. But you probably don't. You probably owe them a cold egg sandwich. That's been Hydroponics Daily for today. If you could share this episode or share the podcast on Instagram, that would be an amazing thing. If you found value from it, any of our episodes of last year, just take a screenshot of your podcast episode as it streams on your phone. Take a screenshot, post that onto Instagram and say, you've got to listen to Hydroponics Daily. It's da bomb. That would mean the world to me because it would help spread the word and make more people in the horticulture world listening to it, and we can grow the community. Thank you very much for listening. Until tomorrow, I've been Russell. Goodbye.